Hi, my name is Mariah Leo, and I'm here to talk about my Kickstart campaign. I am an author and a speaker, although I didn't start out that way. Um, Let me tell you a little bit about how I got to this point first. My experience is from working all my life in the animal field, and I was a veterinary technician. I was a professional groomer with my own business, and I also did training, basic obedience, and things for my customers. I grew up with animals from the time I was a baby. In fact, this is me at 6 months old with our dog Happy. She was a mixed breed, and she, coming from a single family home with no siblings, she was my whole life. So I got into learning a lot and appreciating animals very young. I am at a point now where I have done some work in the field as far as writing and publishing some books. I have gotten myself into the local newspapers. We were the cover of a magazine, Glen Cove Life, and we were invited to one of the dog shows, and we were interviewed by the head of the Canine Good Citizen program at the AKC. So, as I said, I worked in the field. I got a lot of experience, starting from a young age, actually. And then one day, people say that your life can change in a split second. And I've always heard that, and you just kind of put it out of your mind because you don't think it's going to happen to you. And it did. I was in a head-on collision where I experienced a number of injuries. I had a number of surgeries, treatments, and while this was all going on, they told me there may be a possibility that I may not be able to work. But I'm not the type of person to just sit back and vegetate and wait to see what's going to happen. So I enrolled in an online college to work towards my veterinary technician degree, because at the time that I was doing that, you didn't need licensing. So, and I became involved in the newsletter there, first as a writer, and then shortly after I was the editor, and I did articles myself and did the role of editor. So I picked up a lot more on my second passion in life, which has been writing. And I used to do that as a kid all the time, and I would even do infomercials on my little cassette player. Anyhow, that brings me to the point of, after a couple of years doing my studies and waiting, going for surgeries, MRIs, all of that, they called me into the office, and it was stated that I could no longer work. I was disabled. So, of course, it was devastating. And right before that news, I had lost my Great Dane, and my other dog was getting up in age, and my doctors knew how much my animals, especially my dogs, had helped me through my life, and they suggested getting a puppy, which I did. I had wanted a bull mastiff for a long time, and I did find a breeder. I told her what I was looking for in the dog, because I wanted this dog to be my companion. I had a lot of trauma from the accident, etc. So, enter Piper. I named her Piper. She's 6 years old now. And as a puppy, since I have no children, I always keep a puppy log on, how my puppies are growing, and they're fun to look back at, like a baby book. But with Piper's, I did it more intensely. And I think that I was being directed. I think God had a plan for me. And one night, going over all the notes in her log, I decided this would make a good children's book. And then I went a little further and decided to make it into a series. It was a lot of information. And I don't know how many of you are aware of the statistics of the number of dog bites involving children in the U.S., but half of the bites, more than half actually, involve children. And most of those involve children under the age of 7. Also, we have overflow of dogs in shelters. 90% of the dogs in there are in there because they did not get the training and the socializing that they should have gotten as puppies. And they were not, the owners did not do research on, even with a mixed breed, you want to know what is most prevalent in this dog as far as qualities. And people will just watch the Westminster Dog Show and say, oh, that's such a nice dog, I want one of those. Meanwhile, the dog needs a lot of exercise, and they have a full schedule. Both parents work, children have sports, outdoor activities, and the dog gets left home, and now the dog begins to chew at the molding, rip up the couch, and they're relinquished to the shelter with the reasoning being that the dog is not controllable, the dog doesn't behave, he's not learning, and really it's not their fault at all. So I wanted to make the books in, they're told through Piper's eyes, and I wanted them to be done in a way that children would understand dogs more. So although there's a lot of education in the books, it's done in story form, and it takes you from the day that Piper came to my home to live with me till her first birthday. And these are the books. There are 5 in the series. You'll see better pictures on the platform of my campaign. At this point, I have done everything myself. I've had some people help me, but I've gotten myself into the media that I could, and once it took a long time to get each book published. I wrote them within 6 months, but it took a couple of years before all 5 were done. I have now completed a 6th book, which talks about what Piper and I are doing with her as an adult. And I wanted to supplement the books by doing a presentation. And I sat down at PowerPoint on my computer and I devised a slideshow. And we go to different libraries, boys and girls clubs, schools, and I do a talk while the slideshow is on. Then Piper comes in and we have her demonstrate all the commands that, the basic commands that every dog should know, and how to be well-mannered. We talk about how to approach a dog and all the things that we can expand on a little more from the books depending on the audience and the questions we can do. Also, the presentation can be tailored to children, to teens, to adults. Sometimes we have a mix. And I've had adults buy the books for themselves. They've learned a lot from there. And the best part that Piper enjoys is after we're done with the demonstrations, each child that wants to can come up to meet her, and then we take a group photo. And as you can see, she's just loving having her belly rubbed, and she's a bit of a diva because she loves to have her photo taken. So what I'm trying to do is to continue on my mission which is to have my books go nationwide so that we can educate children and their families, so that we don't have dogs going into shelters because they haven't researched and they haven't found a dog that fits their lifestyle. We want to protect our children from getting bit. That's a big problem in here. And I also want to show the positive things that a dog can do for a family. In a lot of ways, a dog can bring the family unit closer together. Where they could do charity walks with their dogs. They can do all kinds of fun activities such as frisbee and fly ball and things like that. They have dock diving for the dogs that are rural water dogs. And they can do more serious activities where they get degrees and they get titles like obedience and confirmation. But all in all, it brings the family together so that they can do this as a family. Now, the reason I am on Kickstarters, which is a first for me, I have to get my book that is now ready. You will see a preview of that further down on my page. I want to get that to layout and to get to print, and if I can run my campaign for 30 days and get the amount that I need, I will be able to have books in hand anywhere from the end of October to mid-November. And it's important to me to get this out as soon as possible. And along with paying for the layout, paying for the printing, the shipping, I have marketing costs. I need more marketing materials. I need to run ads. I would like to do a release of this book where I also showcase the 5-book series to show them how, let everyone know how it started out, and you know, how we need to really raise a puppy correctly in order to have a well-mannered dog that you can take anywhere and not have to worry about. So this is something that is excuse me, very close to my heart, because dogs have gotten me through some very traumatic times in my life. And Piper has given me not only a way to stay in a field that I love, which is the dog world, even though I'm not working hands-on with them, and because of my disabilities, this does allow me to make my own schedules, but also she inspired me, and I thought about this long and hard. I've put my heart and soul into it, and this is something that I think my message is worth everyone in this country to hear. I will, as I said before, I'd like to get the books to go nationwide. I would like to continue on with the presentations, maybe make them better, and as I said, aside from the marketing funds I need and the ad campaign funds that I need, I would like to do a nice, have a little function where I have a book release and highlight everything that we've done so far. So there'll be pictures later on for you to see on the page, and I hope you are as passionate about this cause as I am, and I want to thank you in advance for the contributions that you'll give to our project. So take a look down, see what we're doing, see some more photos, and we'll be bringing you updates on a regular basis. Okay, bye-bye now.